All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash, double honors to the apostles. And now there's a great millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters that's out there unto those like foreigners. When they see the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. I'm going to make a quick show to the spirit. Normally, it'll be quick. I want to hit a few points on basically, they had actually a commercial. I did the show on it on Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Just the first verse. Just one verse. Which the world cannot even understand that concept. 3-1. Who is the serpent? What would that represent? They don't even understand that one concept. And there's a lot of things that these people don't understand. A lot of things are, once again, written in code, written in, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it's dark sayings, of course. Matter of fact, I'm going to start with that again. Psalms 78. Or hip talk, something like that. Psalm 78 and 2. I will open my mouth in a parable, and I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. Because this thing is supposed to be a generational thing. Let me see what the commentary says. Oh, it doesn't even hit that point. Okay. So the dark sayings of old is what we're going to focus on. And where people understand what the scriptures be speaking of. And they will actually think it's something that is not even close to what it is. All right. Real quick. Let me get that's the priest I was thinking about. Salakia. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 6. $50? Yeah. 2nd Ezra 6 and 49. It says, Then didst thou ordain 2 living creatures, the one that callest Enoch, and the other Leviathan. So when you read this without understanding, you believe, because there was 2 Enochs, matter of fact. One was a son of Cain, and another was a son of Seth, one of his sons. All right. And Enoch just means man. So the 2 living things, man was going to control the land, the dry land, and Leviathan to control the seas. It says, and did it separate one from another for 7 part, namely where the water was gathered together, might not hold them both. Unto Enoch that giveth 1 part, which was dried up the 3rd day, which is talking about land. The Hebrew is aratazah, okay, earth. It says that he should dwell in the same part, wherein 1,000 hills. Okay, and let me see, boom, boom, boom. Jumping down, it says, and after these, matter of fact, let me keep going. But unto Leviathan that giveth the 7th part, namely the moist, and has kept him to be devoured, of whom thou wilt, and when. So Leviathan, the sea creature, the sea monster, sea dragon, is the Lord's ultimate weapon. All right. It says, upon the 6th day that giveth commandment unto the earth, that brought before thee, it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. And after these, Adam also, whom thou hast madest Lord of all thy creatures. All right. Of him come we all, and the people whom thou hast chosen. So Adam was king of all. All right. Of all people that was in there, because it was not just Adam, and that's the misconception, which I'm going to get into. Genesis 1:27 again. So Elohim created man in his image, and the image of the Elohim created he him, male and female created he them. So male and female was created at the same time, but it's order. So jump into the premise of the show. Genesis 2:20. And Adam gave names to all to cattle. Matter of fact, should I go up? Genesis 2:19. And out of the ground, the Lord, which is a capital Lord, Lord, which when we look into it, it says Yahweh, because there's no V in the Hebrew. All right, there's no E. You substitute the E and the O, the V. You put A's, you have Yahweh, which means he exists. All right, he exists. It says unpronounced, except with the vowel, except with vowel pointings of H136. That's why we call upon the name of the Lord. All right, they can't pronounce it because it's not given unto them, but that's how you pronounce it. So the Lord started dealing with Adam in Genesis' 2nd chapter. It says Yahweh power formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought him to Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every creature, every living creature, that was the name thereof. So that goes into the Hebrew alphabet, which I'm not going to go into that. That's not the subject matter of the show. But it shows you that he had a great task. All right? He had to name everything. So in order for you to name everything, that means you had to control everything. You was ruling everything and everyone. Right? And Adam gave names to all cattle and to fowl of the air, to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found any help meet for him. And what does it mean, help meet? Which I should just go. Well, actually, what did it say here? Help meet. Izar. Help. Succor. One who helps. So he needed assistance, right? And the Lord, Yahweh, caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. So this right here, this one line, people actually believe that the Lord had operated on Adam. All right? They believe that he was operating on, because of the warped mind of people. And not knowing that it's read Genesis, the 1st chapter, and tells you that male and female was created. They was already created. So Adam he was a descendant of the Adamites. But the Lord was dealing with this particular Adam. This is the Adam. Okay? So now we're gonna have to break it down and see if I get the commentary on a deep sleep. Proverbs 19. No. That's a good one though. That is a good one. All right, Genesis. No, that's not that one I was looking for. All right. Nope, that's not the one either. I could use this. Genesis, Job 33:15. And in a dream and a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon man. That's actually when a man sleeps. There's stages to sleep. All right. But it really means he was unconscious, or he was focusing on his thing, and the Lord had him not seeing what was common. It's just basically when you are focusing on stuff, you just focusing on one thing, and certain things could be around you and you're unaware of it. So the Lord had a help for him in the form of Eve, which was most like Apostle brought it out too, which means close family, which is going to go into that real quick. It says 1 Samuel 26:12. So David took the spear and cruse of water from Saul's hoister, and they got them away, and no man saw it, nor knew it, neither awaked, for they were all asleep, because a deep sleep from the Lord was falling upon them. So they was unaware. All right. So Adam was unaware of what the Lord was doing. He was setting up a marriage with Eve, which most likely was his close relative. All right. And it says, and took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead. And the rib which the Most High had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto him. Because woman means what? A female servant. Right? So once again, people will read that and like, you see, it says it right there, right? And Adam said, this is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. All right, so boom, let's go there. Commentary actually had it all on point. Genesis, that's 2:19. No, that's not the one. It was the other one. I didn't even have to write nothing down. That's so sweet. Genesis 29:14. Not compare, it's like a view. It says, Laban said, well, let me go up. And Jacob told Rachel that that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, which is his nephew, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And abide with him the space of a month. So when he saw it, he talked to him, he explained everything. He said, oh, you are my bone and my flesh. You're my relative. And here's more proof. Judges 9:2. It says, I gotta click it. Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal, which is Gideon. That's another name for Gideon, if I'm not mistaken. Name given to Gideon by his father when he destroyed the altar of Baal. So this is Abimelech, son. This is the wicked son that he had. All right, went to Shechem unto his mother's brethren, and communed with them, with all the families of the house of his mother's father, saying, speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem, whether it's better for you, either that all the sons of Jerubbaal, which were 70, and 70, which would be 90 sons. So he killed off 90 of his relatives. Persons reign over you, or that one reign over you. Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh. So he went to his mother's side and said, look, I'm your bone and your flesh. I'm your relative. 2 Samuel 5:1. Then came all the tribes of Israel to David unto Hebron, and spake, saying, behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. So why keep saying that for? Because that was a common thing to say. All right? Because Israel's a family. In the beginning of time, people was what we call incest today that was a thing back then. All right? Until the Lord allowed us to multiply, and we didn't have to do no more incest, so to speak, because there was enough of us. In the beginning, the nations, we had to get with the other nations' women, all right, to build us up. It says 2 Samuel 19:13, and say to Amaziah, art thou not of my bone and of my flesh? The Most High do so to me, and more also, if thou be not captain of the host before me, continuing in the room of Joab. So you can't get around it. I don't know what Ephesians 5:6 says. For we are the members of his body. Wow. Of his flesh and of his bones, which is talking about Yahushua. All right. Now this fact needs to go in. Let's read up a little bit. I'll go to 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Yahushua also loved the church, and give himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. All right, so we was washed with the word to make us clean, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy, without blemish. All right. In the church, ecclesias means to call out. The church of the Lord is the Israelites. All right. It's not a building. It's the Israelites, which we are the temple. Oh, that's another topic for a show. But it says, so ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. Slakia. Because she's a part of you. She didn't come from you. She's a part of you. The scripture says, matter of fact, I gotta get that real quick. Matthews 11. I just had it in my head too. Matthews 11 and... I had it in my head. Was it Matthew 11? Slakia. Let me just type it in. Oh, Matthew 19. Slakia. Matthew 19 and 4. And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, which I just read, and he said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, which I didn't get to read that part yet, but that's what Adam stated. All right, Adam was the beginning. He stated that a man shall leave father and mother and cleave to his wife, and there shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twine, but one flesh. So if you love yourself, you a man, you love yourself, you have to love your wife. If your wife loves you, She's supposed to take care of herself. All right. And in this society, a woman get with a man and she let herself go, or she doesn't try to take care of herself. She doesn't love herself. All the narcissistic, what people is taught of love, self-love or self-preservation is just pleasure. And pleasure is not self-love. Pleasure is just momentarily pleasure. It's nothing for the moment. Longevity is a key to everything. So if you really truly love yourself, which that's a whole nother subject, if you truly love yourself, you will keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You will keep things that's going to keep you going. You will do the right thing because you try to preserve yourself. You will take care of your health. You will take care of the people that surround you, because your surrounding environment has a major part of your personal health. So everything has to be healthy for you. But the people around us are sick. All right? Like I said, that's a whole other subject. It says, what therefore has the Most High joined together, let not man put asunder. All right? What was that? Ephesians. I lost my place. That's okay. I'll get it. Ephesians 5:30. For we are members of this. Sorry, I was supposed to read more down. 28. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh. Did you see that? But nourish and cherish it, even as the Lord the church. So a man is going to take care of himself. Well, today's man don't give a damn about their temple. But a true man is going to take care of himself. So if he's going to take care of himself, he's going to take care of his woman, because that's part of himself. And like I said, and she's going to maintain herself to appease him. So it's not just a one thing. You can't be fucking obesely fat and thinking that you deserve something better, and you haven't shown it to your body. Well, that's a whole nother subject. For we are members of his body, which is whose body? Yahushua's body. All right, Yahushua is the head, and we are members of the body. Some could be the toe, some could be the hand, some could be the stomach. We are members of him, of his flesh, which, going back to Romans the 9th chapter, tells you, Paul stated, he said, Israelites in the flesh. Yahushua came for the Israelites in the flesh, and of his bones, his family. We are of his family, of his lot. All right. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and the two shall be one flesh. All right. So this proves right there, this one verse, that everybody got so confused, believing that the Lord actually did an operation and take a piece of a man's rib and put it in a clone machine and just change. No, man and woman was created together. Just the Lord made Adam blind to the fact of who his wife is going to be. All right, who his wife is going to be, and a wife is supposed to be a helpmate. It says in Adam, I read that part. It said, therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife. And why did Adam make that statement? Because he himself had a father and mother. All right. And this became that's a tradition. Well, you could say tradition. How things are supposed to be. When a man gets his wife, he's supposed to start his new life with his wife. That's his family. Matter of fact, I should look up the word family. Hold on. It says, shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh, and they were both naked, which is talking about without clothing. That was meaning it was unashamed. All right. And the man and his wife We're not ashamed, which I jumped the gun. But what was it? Oh, family. That's what I was looking for. Let's look up the word family. All right, Leviticus 20:5. Then I will set my face against the man and against his family, right? Look at the word family. Clan, family, tribe, people, nation, guy, species, kind, aristocrats. Let's see. Right. Family, that is circle of relatives, figuratively a class of persons, a species, which is not talking about, we talking about a circle of relatives, right? See what this says right here. Hebrew word is, no, that doesn't have nothing to do with that. And right, this is better. Shapakat, maid servant, slave girl, maid servant, as belonging to a mistress, undress, speaker, humility, figuratively. Feminine use, meaning to spread out as a family. See, female slave. That's what a woman is. She's a female slave to a man. All right, as a member of the household. I should look up the word house. It says bond hand, which a woman is a property of a man. Period. All right. So the Hebrew word for family is mashapakha. Matter of fact, let me see if there's another. That's the right one, right? 25 and 41. Then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, which is a Hebrew word mashapakha, and unto the possession of his father shall he return. So family, in this sense, let me look up the Greek word. No, actually, there's a Greek word for family. Let me see. Family in Ephesians 3:15. It says, of whom the whole family in heaven and earth is named. All right, look up the word. Is, I don't know how to say it. Lineage, running back to the source of the progenitor, ancient. A nation or tribe, a group of families, all those who in a given people lay claim to common origin. The Israelites, which dispute unto 12 tribes, descended from the 12 sons of Jacob. They were divided into families, which were divided into houses. Family in a wider sense, nation, people. Race, kindred. All right, so they get the point. So Adam dealt with his close kin, his close family member, which was Eve, and she became a help to him. All right, which later down the line, matter of fact, I do gotta get that, which is another scripture in itself. And it says Genesis 3:16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrows, birth pains, and thou shalt conceive, yet in thy conception, in sorrow shall I bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, which was that reinforcement of the original order. Everything that we're reading is nothing of new. It was part of the original order of things. All right. And he shall rule over thee. And that was the emphasis, that he's going to rule over you. So that doesn't mean in the kingdom of heaven, a woman's going to be considered equal. No, there was always order. While we living in the time that we live in is disorder. A woman's not a helpmeet. A woman's a burden. She's the enemy. She's Satan. She's the adversary. All right. But in the ancient time, a woman was supposed to be a helpmeet. That was the original reason for females. Which, let me read it again. It says Genesis 2:19, I believe. No, right, it's 2:20. And Adam gave names to all cattle, to the fowls of the air, to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found any helpmeet for him. All right, which is Izar. There was no help for him. Until the Lord gave him a woman to take some of those things off him. And that woman did not pop out of nowhere. She didn't just pop out of his side. She was a close relative to him. All right. So with that, just something that people misunderstand with the scriptures. And it's, in the way it's spoken, the way because it says nothing new under the sun. Right? They tell you the principle of things. The scriptures tell you about the principle of things. And one of the principal things of clothing, there was always order. There was always something going on. So they had clothes back then. They had maybe little cities, which they probably wasn't a city, probably trading things. There was always something. All right, some resemblance of this world. It's just this time is decay. This is the decay form. Okay. So, like I said, that being said, shalom to the elect of the nations. Shalom.